faves. We already did a little bit of skincare and some of my favorite basic items, and that pretty much sums that up for sure. I know I didn't include any eyebrow products or an eye cream, but in all honesty, I did not have a standout eye cream for the entire year of 2015. And normally that's a product I play around with a lot, and I just feel like this year was a year of cutting back on a lot of expenses. Now, with that being said, I think I actually did try a little bit more beauty this year because I came out of a lot of skincare products. I wasn't doing as much facials in 2015. I did a lot of wedding makeup. So I played around with a lot more beauty, and then my skincare products became much more stationary. It became about what I could get, what I could afford, and I happily did try a lot of skincare, but a lot of it was sent to me. And I'm very blessed for 2015 that, thanks to YouTube, that was something that I was able to come by. Now, 2015 was not a standout year for me on YouTube, with all due respect to my channel, and that was because I didn't have a lot of money to purchase a lot of things. I really want to amp up 2016. I want to make this year incredible, and I want to try some new things, and you know, I want to get a hold of great products, and I'm hoping that that will come to this year. I don't want to be over budget. I actually want to decrease my debt, but I also want to make this year exciting, not just for YouTube, but for myself. I want to try things, and not just in makeup, not just in hair, but in my life. I want to experience great new things and just be blessed and happy, right? So let's start off with eyes, because the eyes are at the top, right? So let us begin. I like to be in order just a little bit because I do like my videos to make sense in that way, so you kind of have a sense of direction. So I'm going to begin with palettes, eye palettes. And one of my first products I ended up loving this year was the Tamanna palette, which I actually bought. I think I bought this actually in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, but this became one of my favorite products for the year 2015. Not only did I rock it most of December, but I rocked it very early on in 2015, like when I was still in California. And my little Tamanna palette, look how cute and itty bitty, it's so sweet. And I used up a great deal of blush and fresh, and those were definitely my babies. And what I like about this palette was that it kind of broke me out of my shell in the beginning of this year, because I don't usually do a lot of shimmers in the crease. I've been playing around with a lot more shimmer now since I got my Kat Von D Monarch palette, pretty much just in the last two looks I've done, but I really enjoyed this bangle color because it's like a really nice, smooth, silky, satiny type color. I tend to always want to play around with a blue, even if it's the random color in the palette, because I always like to use it as a pop of color. I know a lot of people don't like the random brights in neutral palettes. I always like them because I feel like it's a great little accent color, and sometimes you do want to grab a little bit of a bright color and add a little something, something. So I totally understand it, but yeah, check out this palette if you haven't. I don't know if it's still available, but it is great. And even if this product is not available, I highly recommend checking out anything by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Eyeshadow, their eyeshadows are amazing. I have not tried their liquid lipsticks, but that is on the top of my list. Palette that I'm going to talk to you guys about is the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty palette. I asked my family members for this probably for both birthday and Christmas. I think I got it for Christmas though, and I love this palette. I have already hit pan in sheer joy. I used this palette a lot at the beginning of this year, and one of my favorite things in this palette is the purples. You gotta have the purples. I'm sorry. Purple. What I really like about this palette is it gave me an appreciation for soft eyeshadows. I don't think I had that appreciation before, and I've liked everything I've ever tried from IT Cosmetics. Now, I do have to comment that the reviews for IT Cosmetics eye products are not they're not where the reviews are for their other products. But I like to give different and original and unique things a try. I don't always go with the majority of everybody. I like to see for myself. I like to be very open. I'm not like, oh, she said it sucked. I am not trying that. No. I like to be like, oh, she said it sucked. I want to see what's wrong with it. I want to see if there's something really, really wrong with it. And so, kaboom, here it is. I love this palette. And if you like soft shadows, if you like a naturally pretty look with some color, something that's easy to blend, something that you're not going to have to pack on 20 million layers before it looks good, I highly recommend getting one of the IT Cosmetics palettes, just because I think they're good. If you like the consistency of the Tarte eyeshadows, I highly recommend checking them out. Next palette I gotta talk about is the Too Faced Semi-Sweet palette. Speaking of neutrals, fascinating neutrals. I don't know why this palette is the color milk chocolate, but that's okay. But yeah, speaking of fascinating neutrals with some random color, here's another one for you. I think all these palettes are actually neutrals with a pop of color. I just think we all need a pop of color in our lives. And there's nothing more joyous and beautiful than a sleek chocolate smoky eye. That is like me in the last couple years. I think after I worked for Origins, which was a natural skincare line, and after the Naked palettes came out, and after I noticed that a lot of lines did great neutrals, and a lot of lines did have little hints of color, it's like, you know what, those colors, there's a reason some of these very basic lines have these very great colors, is because they look good on everybody. And why not? Why not manufacture something that multiple people can buy? And I totally feel when it comes to palettes, I like to support brands and palettes and colors that suit a variety of skin tone. Not that I don't appreciate when companies do, this is for redheads, this is for blondes, this is for dark skinned women. I totally think that's awesome, because it lets us know who the recommended person is. But I really like palettes that have a universal awareness as well. And I understand that colors like coconut cream may not be beautiful on everybody, but I totally think that colors like butter pecan would be very beautiful on dark skinned ladies. So I feel like this is a palette for everybody. Not only could dark skinned women use butter pecan as a highlight color, but light skinned women can use it as an all over eyelid color as well. Or dark skinned women can use coconut cream as an eyeshadow base and pop a bright over it to make it pop out. Whereas light skinned women can use coconut cream for brow highlights. So totally love those palettes. And I am gonna include a couple more eyeshadow palettes. We're not done. What would the world be like without mentioning the Monarch palette? I wanted this thing for a very long time. In fact, I've wanted a new Kat Von D eyeshadow palette for a very long time. They used to be one of my favorite eyeshadows back in the day. And I don't know why, but I think it's like the one time I did try it out, I was in a bind and I needed to apply something without a brush. And it applied beautifully, it blended beautifully. I was like, yes. And it stuck in my mind that Kat Von D eyeshadows, even back in the day, were pigmented. But I have to say, if you haven't tried them in a few years, definitely check them out, because they've definitely stepped up their game to a whole new level. I think I pretty much used a great deal of the Kat Von D Vida Loca palette remix, but boy did I ever use this Monarch palette. And I love Monarchs. They are my favorite butterfly. It's my grandpa's favorite butterfly. So I did want to pick this up, and I just love the artwork on the palette. I can't. I'm sorry. Skulls on butterfly wings. How cute is that? And I love the names. Like, they don't necessarily resonate with me all the time, but I love that the names resonate with her. So I feel like there's a lot of love with the color names. And I love when companies put love into their palettes. Like, you could totally see. You could totally feel the love. And I think, speaking of the Kat Von D Vida Loca palette, I love that more love was put into Kat Von D. This was my product I purchased where I had, you know, the epiphany that Kat is back. She's better than ever. She is the tops. And for being on the list of a Sephora brand, I have to say Sephora's really upped their game this year. And this is a company I was willing to support because she went cruelty-free and vegan. I know that some people who are cruelty-free and vegan are still choosing not to support her because of where she originated. I think as we grow, we become either less judgmental or less defined. But I definitely want to support brands that are turning that new leaf, that are saying like, hey, let's go cruelty free and let's go vegan. I gave Urban Decay 2 chances before they sold to L'Oreal, and so I want to give a brand who is saying like, take out all the bad ingredients for my products. This is where we need to be at. And she's a vegan herself, and I will not support just any fellow vegan. If I don't like a certain brand or I don't like the way a company's run, I will not support them. Because to me, that is the whole reason in supporting cruelty-free and vegan brands in the first place. If we're gonna say we don't like the way L'Oreal conducts their business, I'm gonna say the same for the way people conduct their businesses as well. I know that's a little intense and a little biased, but that's just the way I feel. And I also really like that on her channel, she puts a lot of bloggers on her channel. I really like that she picks bloggers that are not necessarily tops, but I like that she picks people she's truly inspired by, and I really respect that. So if you haven't checked out her channel, I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the bottom bar. And it's been a while since I picked up this bad boy. It's a lot cleaner than I remember. I really remember dirtying this up a lot more, but probably the dust has settled a bit on it by now. But I just totally, I can't. It's buttery, it's perfection, it's gorgeous. So I'm gonna put a link in the bottom bar below for my favorite Kat Von D Vida Loca tutorial that I created. And check it out. And I'll also put one of my favorite tutorials that she created. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick one with just her or with another blogger, but I really like the tutorial by Nikki Tutorials, because she uses one of the Kat Von D palettes on Kat, and I just really like that tutorial. So that's probably the one I'll link in the bottom bar by Nikki Tutorials. I've really fallen in love with Nikki Tutorials again this year. So let's go on to individual shadows, and then we'll go to pigments. And don't worry, I don't have a lot, and then we'll move to face. My first two favorite pressed shadow colors are ColourPop Cosmetics. And this was the standout brand for me this year that changed my world. It's a total broke girls brand. I love it. I think it rocks my socks. And I have used Disco Ball a couple times, but every time I've used it, I've just loved it. Black is not a color I wear every day all over the eyelid, but when I do, it's this bad boy. The next color I love, which you guys have seen me use a lot of, which I will have a link somewhere up here in the video, of my favorite look I use using this one. My tutorial, and you can go ahead and check out Tea Party, because it's just a beautiful, frosty, brilliant, pink. So that is it for pressed colors. I don't buy a lot of individual shadows. I'm not against buying one of the ColourPop palettes, even though I know that they come with a bunch of individual shadows, just because you save a lot of money. Pigments. Give it up for Sugarpill's Junebug. This probably had to be my favorite tutorial I did this year. Everybody loves this color on me. I love this color on me. I love working with this color. This color is the stuff of life. Junebug by Sugarpill is life. And it's richer than MAC Club. It's more brilliant than any duochrome green. This is just a standout product in my land, in my world, in my belief system. The cheeks. My favorite blush of the year goes to, drumroll please, because I'm a blush fanatic, but I have not bought much blush this year, so please forgive me. But down here in the south, it tends to get very wet, very sweaty, very, very humid, and sometimes your blush shade does not become the epitome of your look, because you're gonna be flushed every other color besides your own blush shade. This year, go to these Sweethearts blushes, and I would love to pick a singular color, one mama for the record, but I feel like blush for me is a mood, and I feel like I select my blush tone based on my mood or my look, and it's not always just about the color. For me, it is about the formula. Unless I think a color just is a disaster area, then I'll start being more specific, but I think all of these are formulated beautifully. If I were going on vacation and I can only bring one with me, it would without a doubt be Something About Berry. And the reason why I would take Something About Berry with me is because it is not only an apricot, a soft mauve, but it's also a brilliant raspberry. So I feel it's the best of the best because it's got 3 personalities and it's a very wearable, bold pink. I typically don't like hot pinks on me, but I like them when they have a little kick of either something really extra, a nice punch, something that doesn't take itself too seriously, or has a nice swirl of something warm or natural in it. Then I'm all about something a little off the beaten path. If it's really a very brilliant bright pink blush that almost takes itself too seriously, I like something in the way of like Mac Dolly Mix, something that's got a high intensity shimmer so it doesn't look matronly. Do you get my drift? I hope you do. All right, and as far as the most basic color in the collection, I love the packaging on this one the most, but it's not my favorite just because it's a little hard to wear. It's very girly and very soft and just gives a nice soft glow. But if you can't decide on what blush to wear, you really don't want to wear much of a blush at all, this is a good blush to have. Now, this ranks in my bottoms. This actually, yeah, I actually love the packaging on this most because it reminds me of Juicy Couture, if I didn't say so. But I like this blush the least, thinking I would like this the most when I bought it because I'm a peach blush girl, but it looks very brown on and oxidizes very brown. And while I don't dislike brown blush per se, I feel strongly that this gold up here that could be used as a highlighter doesn't really resonate as a highlighter because it's got a strong pink undertone to it. So it really all needs to be mixed together and looks very brown on, and in my opinion, the least versatile of all the blushes because of that. But, and I feel when I'm wearing it, like that it could be peachier. So I honestly believe that this color did get its rightful name, Peach Beach, because it does remind you of like a bronzy beachy tan. So I do like it for that. If you're a lady who doesn't like a lot of color on your face, I strongly believe that Peach Beach would be your. Talk about the Hourglass blushes. So this year, my cart, I only have one cart now. I threw away a lot of cosmetics before I moved down here. But I do have to say, this was the item I was worrying about breaking. I cannot believe I bought these back when I was making more money. I'm like, just goes to show you the pricing difference between living here and living in California, and the wages you get are worlds apart from each other. It's either that or I learned a very impactful and important lesson this year about, since I have moving expenses now, I learned a huge lesson about buying all blushes in a series, especially when it comes to couture blushes. I know these are only $5 more than the Too Faced blushes, but I cannot believe I purchased these. These are an extravagant buy. So anyways, I do really like diffused heat, and I really like diffused in general. I love the highlighter. I'll go into that when we go into highlighters, but I love this because this is a really nice hot corally color. I love red blush. It looks so like pinched to perfection on the cheek, but I do feel like the soft focus lighting inside these blushes, I think it really makes even the intense colors look really pretty. But like I was saying, the blush tone oxidizes, so it does warm up to deeper skin tones, and it goes on beautifully without heavily building. That's one swipe without concealer, without primer, without anything wet on my hand. I don't think you could see that with this terrible lighting in here, but it's beautiful. So check out Diffused Heat. The other one I really like, and I talked a lot of crap about Beach Peach being a little brown and not peach enough for me, but if we're going to be talking about brown blush, I mean really wanting to go for brown blush, I strongly recommend taking a look at Mood Exposure, because the whole blush is a nice plummy color. This would be a great highlighter on dark skin with just the exposure color alone. On light skinned, exposure as a highlighter is way too deep. But this as a blush is beautiful, and it oxidizes really nicely to a rich, ripe berry. So if you pack on a little too much, it's still very forgiving even on light skin, but it would oxidize to a beautiful blush. This may look like nothing in the pan, but it's brilliant on. It's one of those beautiful raisiny, ripe colors. I love it. And this, to me, when I bought it, I almost returned it. I was like, do I really want that? It's brown, because I felt like the display must have gotten mixed with something, and I was purchasing it based off of that. And displays can be a disaster area. And but when I got it home and I tried it on, I was like, you know what? It took me about 2 or 3 months to warm up to it. I was still regretting buying it. Kept it anyways. I'm really glad I did, because it is one of my favorite colors in these blushes. And like I said, if I like the formula, I'll just tell you all of them are my favorite, but because there's so many different veinings and different colors and different skin finishes, I feel like when it comes to these marbleized products, it's really hard to have all of it be your favorite color, because just of, you know, what it's supposed to do. I would expect Luminoso to be a favorite for us fair skinned girls, but I really don't think it appears like much on the skin. So check these out. Okay, let's do highlighters. Let's get the ball rolling. Speaking about highlighters, I want to share with you the IT Cosmetics CC Plus Radiance Palette. I highly recommend checking this out if you have medium skin, because there is a nice complexion mixer right there. This blush looks grandioso, beautiful. It's everything. This blush is everything on a lot of skin tones. It's gorgeous. This could be a contour color on fair to medium skin tones, and maybe just a little bit of shimmer on a deeper skin tone. It won't really work as a contour on really dark skin, but maybe you can place that over a base and use that as an eyeshadow. This complexion guy right here, he's got pink, orange, basically just about every It's Your color correcting brightener you can imagine. Every concealer color corrector is in that particular color, and good stuff. This is a very basic complexion booster. There's not a lot that needs to be said about that product. Now, I've already covered some of my basic bronzers and highlighters in the previous video, my basic favorites, so I'll elaborate a little bit and talk about Silk Naturals Mineral Glow in Cherub. This is a beautiful metallic-y highlighter with a soft pink, fresh focused. It's almost like a bridal pink, and I really like highlighters that are screaming uniqueness. I like them because it's really hard to find a highlighter that's either not stark white or not bright yellow or not matte on certain skin types, therefore appearing ready on others. So sometimes you just need a little bit of metallic in your life, and this is a brilliant color. Okay, so let's move on now to false eyelashes, extensions, whatever. We could have stuck with eyes a little longer, but these were my favorite lashes of the year. Can you tell? It's all the same style. The Ardell Glamour lashes are a little more expensive versus these, which you can get at the Dollar General. So the Dollar General became one of my favorite stores for 2015. They don't have any on the West Coast, and I like these lashes. They're almost the exact same thing. So now I got 4 pairs of my favorites, replacing Kiss and Ardell as my mainstay wears from 2014. So I certainly hope you have time to talk lipstick with me, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. One of my favorite lipsticks this year was the Too Faced Melted Frosting, which came out for Valentine's Day. With Valentine's Day just around the corner again, we are experiencing chocolate, and I really want to get myself some chocolate cherries for Valentine's Day. It'll be a stark contrast to my melted frosting, which is a very feminine soft pink color. But I was feeling very romantic and soft last year because I was pretty much, well, I was in the same relationship I am now, but it was a fresher beginning because I was about to move down here. Everything was brand new to me around this time last year, and I was about to get my life together to be here. And I felt flirty, young, and cute, and I just turned 30, and 30 is not a bad year, but it's a discovery year. 2015 was the year of the Greige lip, and ColourPop did not disappoint. It let me try out that color for a really great deal at $5, and I thank them tremendously because they let me try this gorgeous Greige lip, and I love it. I love it on other gurus. I don't know why. It's just that gross, disgusting 90s grunge color, and I'm all for seeing it on reality stars, celebrities, because I think I got really tired of seeing everyone in a nude lip. It's kind of refreshing to see everybody in a fuller, nicer lip again. Like, lipstick is back. And even though I'm not a big fan of the lip enhancements on everybody and their mama, depends on the person, depends on the face, depends on the job, but the doctor. But I love the lipstick, gotta say, love it. The lip is here and we're back in town. All right, so as far as lipsticks are concerned, a standout product to me also goes to Cap. And I was really excited about the iridescent shades because I love anything that has a contrasting sparkle to its base color. That to me is just whimsy, it's fun, it's off the beaten path, it's different, and I love mattes too. It comes to a point for me where I really never can decide between matte and shimmer because I love contrast, but I also love longevity, long wear, bold color, and you get that with a matte. So one of my favorite lipsticks in this kit is Kat Von D Noble, and this I believe was called like Celebutard at first, and everyone got offended that it referenced the word retard. I get that, but this is a brilliant color. But it is definitely wolf's mouth. I love this color on. I think it's breathtaking. I love a bold dark lip on very pale skin, just because it's like whoosh. But I also really love a pastel lip on very dark skin. Like I said, I like contrast. I like something different. If I had to recommend one lipstick color from this particular kit for you, I don't know if I'd recommend getting the kit aside from getting the chance to try out all these wonderful shades at a good deal. The big reason a lot of people got this kit was to get the limited edition shade Gold Blooded, which actually ended up being my least favorite color. So Gold Blooded is this guy right here, which is a orange red with true gold sparkle. It's just a lot more drippier than the rest of the formulas here. Another great formula would have to go to Coven, which is the matte lilac purple, which I love, but I don't know if I love it on me by itself. But I love the idea of a matte lilac to anyone who could pull it off. But I definitely think African American girls, black girls with like a nice purple eye and a lavender lip is stunning. It's just not perfect on me because it looks like I have no skin color at all. I look like dead. That's it. That's it. I thought this would be a harder video to do, but I really sat down and I was like, what did you use this year? What did you love this year? What did you keep reaching for this year? That's your favorites. And there you have it. Thank you so much for watching my videos in 2015. We are here for the 6th. We're gonna start, sorry, what is it, July 10th? No, July 31st? I'll look up the date. This will be my 6th year on YouTube by the middle of this year. So 5.5 years I've been on YouTube, and let's make 5.5 to 6 be good. Let's make it great, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one, and I hope to probably get a new camera this year and make this year great. I'm gonna do my vegan recipe box this year. I'm not backing out of that, don't worry. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching this one.